if you're looking to purchase an RV, you're going to want to watch this. We're going to give you 10 tips on how to get the best deal possible.
Hi, we are Sherry and John from AmpedToGlamp, and we are at the Florida State Fairgrounds Campground, where in just 2 days, the Florida RV SuperShow in Tampa is going to be held. And we are so excited. And so we have 10 tips and one bonus tip to help you get the best deal possible. So let's take a walk around and chat.
Okay.
Our first tip seems like a very simple tip, but that is make sure you get the floor plan that's right for you. A lot of people buy an RV and they see a particular floor plan and they decide that this is the one that I want, but they don't think about how does this floor plan work for my family? How many people in your family? How many people does that RV sleep? Are you a full-timer? Are you going to need to work from your RV? Do you need to have a desk and a dining table? Do you need a separate office for your workspace? So these are all things to consider. So first thing, find the floor plan that works. Now once you found that floor plan, the next thing is tip number 2. Some of the things you want to check out about the manufacturers. What are the reviews like? What do people on YouTube have to say? What do people on the different forums have to say? Go ahead and join the Facebook group for that manufacturer. One of the first things we did before we bought our first RV was that we hopped on to the Facebook page for Fleetwood, and we hopped on to Fleetwood owners groups so we could hear what owners had to say, and also it helped to prepare us for the things that we knew we were going to run into with Fleetwood.
Yeah. Tip number 3, research the dealership. This is a big purchase, and you want to find a reliable dealer that can handle your RV. Check their service department.
The last thing you want is to buy an RV from a dealership that has a less than good reputation, because you will run into all kinds of problems. So what we recommend you do is, if you can, like if you're buying at the show, this might be a little bit more difficult, but if you can, go to the dealership that you're thinking about buying from. Take a seat in the service department and talk to the people around you, because if they're in the service department, they're going to have a pretty good idea of what that dealership is like. Are they there because they have trustworthy service and they love the dealership and they treated them very well? Or are they there because they are really frustrated and they've had a lot of problems and they've brought it back to the dealership for the 4th, 5th, 6th time for the same problem? So you can learn a lot about where you're buying from. With the state of the RV industry today, a lot of dealerships are only servicing your vehicle if you purchased it from them. So you want to make sure that if you're purchasing your vehicle from a particular dealership, that you want to have a long-term relationship with that dealership. Number 4, make sure that once you find the RV that you are in love with or you really like and you want to buy, that you spec it out before you begin your negotiations with the dealer. The reason is RV prices, even for the same RV, let's take our 2021 Fleetwood Bounder. There was a wide range of prices for this particular RV when we were searching.
That's true, and this particular year, especially because of the anniversary edition, that was a special package which included some things that were not included in the regular version, and it actually came out more affordable for us to get this particular model.
So before you begin your negotiations, you want to know exactly what it is that you want in your RV. And you can go to the manufacturer's website to help you figure it out and price it that way. Now, they may not have it. You may have to order it. If you don't want to order it and you want to take something that they have, make sure that it still meets your needs. Right. But you still want to price it out for the options that are in that RV. Otherwise, you're talking apples to oranges, and it's just not going to go well. Number 5, if you are buying your RV at the Florida RV SuperShow here in Tampa, and you get a price at the show, don't be afraid to shop it around. Even though one dealership may be representing Newmar, another dealership may be representing Fleetwood, it doesn't mean that those dealerships don't carry the brand that you may want. So if you're not happy with the price that the dealership that's representing the manufacturer for the vehicle that you want, go to another one, right?
Just
You don't
run it
like
for
what
it.
General RV has? That's okay. Go see RV1. You don't like what RV1 has? Go see somebody else. And at this point, I'm going to recommend that if you are at the RV show shopping, go see our friend Matt from Matt's RV Reviews. He has a big orange tent. You can't miss it. And he'll be in the Jayco section. And he's just a really great guy, and he'll be willing to help you out. Tip number 6. Now, there's some debate on this one, but I'm going to base this on our experiences. Don't be afraid to get your financing from the dealership.
No.
I spent a lot of time researching different rates, and I went to my bank, I went to our credit union, I went to local banks, I went on the internet, and believe it or not, the best rate I got was from the dealership. They do a lot of these packages, they do a lot of volume, and I think they just get good rates. Now, I'm not saying don't shop around.
Oh.
Always shop around for everything. But don't be afraid to say, hey, what can you give us? Because sometimes they do have some really good rates, despite what everybody else might say. Tip number 6. Once you found that RV and you've researched the manufacturer, you also want to research that manufacturer's service center, because you might want to take it there to get your service done. We have learned from our experiences when you first get an RV, there are lots of things that go wrong, break, you take it on the road, things get loosened. You may not have a good service center in your area that can work on your particular RV. Let's say you bought out of state and there's nowhere to go and you have to go to that manufacturer. You want to make sure that that's someplace that you want to take your RV. You want to make sure that that manufacturer is actually going to take good care of your RV.
Yeah, because in many cases, they're not nearly as good as you would hope.
Tip number 8. Do not overpay with all the additional fees. There are a lot of fees that a lot of dealerships will charge you. Not all dealerships charge these fees. I wouldn't pay for a PDI. I mean, if you're going to sell me an RV,
Right.
and then you're going to charge me so that you can inspect the RV that you're going to sell me,
Yeah.
how crazy is that? I mean, really? Buying a car. No car dealership is going to tell me that, oh, we've got to inspect this to make sure everything's okay with it, and you have to pay us for that? Heck no! And I'm also not paying these unspecified dealer fees, this prep fee. What do you mean prep fee? I'm paying you for the RV. You know, it's your job to give it to me the way that it's supposed to be. So, don't pay it.
Do you want the dealerships to starve?
I'm going to ignore that one, John.
That brings us to tip number 10. Compare the out-the-door price. When you shop around, compare your prices out the door. The fees, all the charges, and see which one is the best for you.
Okay, folks, those are our top 10 tips. And now our bonus tip, and this tip is thanks to our good friend Matt from Matt's RV Reviews. We purchased our first RV from him, and he really helped us to get the best price out there. So what Matt told us is that once you have a price in mind, make sure you pull out your credit card and say, if I pay you for this now, will you give me an extra $500 off? Here's my card for my $1,000 deposit. You can ask for additional money off, and a lot of times dealers are willing to give it to you if you are ready to make that agreement. If you're ready to sign the paperwork and say, yes, I want this, because who wants to lose a sale over $500 or $1,000 when you're talking about a vehicle that costs way over $100,000, $200,000. So that's our final tip. So we hope this helped you. We hope to see you at the Tampa Super Show. Please, if you see us, say hello, get a free sticker, and have lots of fun.
Right. See you there.